Alright, you bastards. Today we're going to talk about the 10 prepper items that I find a mistake that I have bought them. But before we start, I have written a book. It's the first part of an 11-part series of a detective series. So if you're interested in some detective stories, the link will be down below. So let's get cracking. Yeah, every pepper actually goes through this sort of stage, the stage where we try out new things and we are getting disappointed by the lack of quality or the ineffectiveness of and the purpose of the item in question. So, like every pepper, I have made mistakes and I learned from them. But I made this video so other people will not make the same mistake as I did. So here are tin pepper items I regret buying. So let's start with number one. One of the mistakes that many preppers make, and that's the not a good Bugout bag. Choosing not a good Bugout bag. This one is actually my first Bugout bag. On first sight, you would not say that there is something wrong with it. It has a lot of pockets. It's at first sight it seems sitting nicely, but the problem is if you put more things in it and carry it for a longer period of time, um, there is a big problem here, and that's this area, and to the other side also this area. What happens? It's very tight to the body. It's a low profile. It's not that visible, but after if you walk like 3 hours, you will start to feel that it will start. There is a plate in the back against the that is holding every fabric to the back together, and that will start to cut in the lower side of my back and in the skin. So after 3 hours of walking with this, I got severely scraped and burning wounds and friction wounds is perhaps the better term on the lower side of my backs, and I could not fix it because if I could cut off those corners of the plate, the thing would fall apart really quickly. And as you can perhaps see, yeah, it's like I was fooled by it. But if you're going to buy a bug out bag or your first bug out bag, try it out or try out a model from somebody you know that you can borrow it and make a long walk at least a few times a week for a few hours, and then you will start to feel what could be wrong. Like another thing that I don't like about this is for a bug out bag, it does not rest on the hips, so there is a lack of a waistband. So everything is carried on the shoulders, which is very bad for the back. So yeah, watch out with buying your first bug out bag or any bug out bag that you will try out. Try it out first before you buy it. Is my first regret. All right. Second, cheap tents. Yeah, I always especially in the beginning, I tried to watch more onto the money because I did not had that much money to spend on this. So what did I do? I bought things like these cheap tents. But the problem with cheap tents is there's a reason why they are cheap. They break easily, they leak, they are not that sturdy. The materials, like the sticks that you use to set it up, can break easily. It's otherwise a clumsy design. So if you're going to buy some sort of tent, make sure it's made of a good quality, that it protects against all elements, that the material is sturdy, and that you can set it up on an easy way, that you not always need at least two persons to set a tent up, especially when you're planning to bug out alone. So that could be a very troublesome. So watch out for cheap tents. That was my second mistake. Third, plastic drinking canteens. As you can see this, yeah, we all seen this in the stores, and many people would ask, what is wrong with this? It's plastic, it can hold water, it's lightweight. So what are you meckering about? Well, I always find I'm what I learned about years of experience as a prepper is if you're going on a bug out, everything needs to be multifunctional because otherwise you will carry a lot of weight. And yeah, from experience, I have noticed that this has only one purpose, and that's carry water. I prefer metal canteens. Why? Because those are multifunctional. In you can and cut on the weight by using a metal canteen that is not insulated. By the way, very important point, that you can put on directly onto a fire to boil it in case of an emergency. So yeah, you can cut some weight by using actually a heavier material, and it will last longer because if metal falls, it usually will just bend, be a dent in it. If this falls or gets corroded, or some other abuse that these things could suffer, it will break and you cannot repair it anymore. You cannot even weld it together. So yeah, that's a very big mistake in my opinion. So yeah, other people will not find it such a problem, but in my opinion, a metal canteen like this will be more of practical, multifunctional, and sturdier than plastic ones. Next, what shall we pick? Oh yeah, there's so much choice. Number 4. This climbing hook. I think a lot of preppers will have bought this piece of shit. And yeah, first thought you would say what's the problem? It's something cool. It's from made of metal. Well, the thing is, you're never going to use this. There is no situation where you're going to use this, or perhaps there you could think of one situation, but what are the chances that you will get into it? And especially if you're thinking about prepping on going on a bug out, and you will scale onto a building or a wall to escape marauders or something. Well, the thing is, that is not practical, because first of all, if you're going to need it, you have to put it out together, take it out together, something put it something together like this. Even if you take it out of if you take it this off, it still has 4 sharp points that will penetrate your bug out bag, and that's not good. The rope is usually very cheap. This metal is very cheap because it starts to rust everywhere, even though it has a painted coat over it. Even then, it starts to rust, and it can make some noise if you disassemble it into your bug out bag. It's extra weight that you, like I said, never use. I never used this thing. I never had, even not for fun, I could not do this because I cannot climb onto somebody else's building, or did not find a suitable wall to throw this at. And yeah, even if you throw it over a wall or onto a building, there is a highly risk to endanger yourself by trying to climb something with this. So always try to find another way to get into a building or over a wall instead of using this kind of piece of shit. Next, chem lights. Yeah, if you saw my video about lights, you will probably have seen me failing with this, because you will think, chem lights, they are practical. I can put they are cheap. I put them in my bug out bag, and I will signal for help. Well, the thing is, if you watch my video and you saw the error that I made, is you will buy loads of these, but the problem is you will not always use them. You will always keep them in your stock, and perhaps on some party occasions you will get one of these. And yeah, but the problem is, if you storage them for, these are perhaps a few years old, and you start to crack them, the plastic will have deteriorated or decayed, and you will break it, and you will be full of this toxic chemical fluid around you, like you saw like in my video. So yeah, I would not rely on chem lights for long-term stock, to put in your long-term stock. So be careful about that. Perhaps there are better models, but don't get fooled by the cheap ones, I would say. Next thing, some alarm pistols. the thing is, I bought in years ago a few alarm pistols. So for a few reasons, I will probably make a video about it. But the thing is, I bought them so if I would have somebody else living with me, partner, children, or something else, I do not want to wound them if I think there is a burglar, because there are more chances that it's just a family member that is just down there getting a late night snack. And yeah, that way with an alarm pistol you can scare away a burglar, but you will not hurt the ones you love, and you will mistakenly shoot them. So that's a good use of alarm pistols. I will make a video about this. But the problem with this kind of model is it's it's a one-shot weapon, and that's not practical if you're face to face with a armed burglar or attacker, because this thing, it's a big clump of metal, the slide, and the spring is works too good. So what happens, it does not get power enough to get back, because and also the pressure of the bullet is not strong enough to push the sled all the way back so it can recycle. So there is always a so-called stovepipe where the cartridge gets stuck while it's ejecting out of the thing. So if you're in an emergency situation, you want to scare somebody away by pretending that you have an actual weapon, you fire a shot, and then the burglar will see a cartridge stuck out of this. But the problem is, with these kind of weapons, you cannot just put it back next round. No, those will be stuck. They will fall down. You have to remove the magazine. It's always a hell of a job to do this. And yeah, in that time you could be attacked by the burglar with things that your weapon has jammed. So if you're going to buy an alarm pistol, watch out for which models. Some models work perfectly. They have been working for years. They've fired them a lot of times. So yeah. So the thing is, some models are not working. So this particular model of alarm pistol, I'm not happy with, because actually a one-shot weapon actually. So be carefully about what alarm pistols that you're going to buy. So which number was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this was number 6. So that was number 6. So we have 4 things left that I consider a mistake. Next thing, this night vision. Yeah, night vision. It's very cool. I love walking in the night, especially with night goggles. I have a particular set of night goggles that you can just put on your head and put down. It's a civilian version, but it does the job. It has a good battery, a little red light, but you cannot see it from further away. So it's very good for nighttime operations or defense or bugouts. But then you have night vision goggles like this. These are the types that you just have to hold. And the thing I hate about this is it's always enlarged. There is not a scale of 1:1. It's always minimal 2 times zoomed in. So it's like a binocular actually with night vision. And that's something that I learned the hard way, because this was a little bit expensive to my taste. But yeah, it's perhaps good for perimeter defense and observation, but for practical situations, no, it's very bad. You will always have to hold it. You can not you will always see further away and not things that are close by. This thing runs on just regular batteries, which sucks, because if you use it on the highest stance, you will not even get 1 hour of night vision. So you will have to change the AA batteries constantly with this, and that's not good for a prepper survival situation. If you need for every hour that you use this, 4 new AA batteries. So that's also something that I hate, and it's very wide. So even if you use it and you put it a little bit down, your face will light up like a Christmas tree, and everyone in the surrounding will see your hunted face before it's shooting your ass. So watch out with night vision goggles. Look good at reviews. If you're going to buy a night vision goggle, don't cheap out. because there are a lot of cheap of the piece of shit of this, and be very carefully about which one that you buy. Look at the reviews, borrow some of someone that has one, and see and test it out before you're going to buy, and put a not a small amount of money on the line. Talking about not a lot of money, numbers, I think it's number 7, I believe. Cheap multi-tools. Multi-tools is also one of those things that you never want to cheap out on. Why? Because they're cheap. Yeah. The thing is, if you go into a dollar store or something and you find something like this, you will think, oh, this is like a Swiss Army knife, and it's very cheap. There's a reason why it's cheap. You will start to cut something, the knife will be dull after only 10 uses. There are some things on it that you will not use, like a corkscrew usually. The things like a screwdriver will be how do you say this, dull after even screwing on a few things, because it's very cheap material that will get dented and broken very fast. And the same thing goes for the other things, like with a little knife. This is supposed to be a knife. It's not even cutting. I never used this little knife, but I can now. If you can see, it's a piece of shit. And the same thing goes for other type of multi-tools like this. Yeah, this has some value, I would say, but never let your guard down, because it's a little bit cheaper, so it can break easily. If you're going to bushcraft a little bit harder than normal, you would think, oh, a hammer and how do you say this, a grip vise and an axe, so this is a perfect multi-tool. Nope. The thing is, it's the material is also very dull. It's very weight. It has very weight. So this is too light because it's made out of very light metals, and it is made out of heavier metal, but not a strong metal that will get dull very fast. And it's not practical. Where are you gonna put this? In your Bugout bag? Because this will cut into your Bugout bag. This part will cut into your Bugout bag. This flimsy thing can strike open and poke a hole into your Bugout bag. These knives can just be put out by the cheap, how do you say this, connection points, and also make cuts into your Bugout bag or a pouch that you use, and you cannot even screw it faster on. So that's something you need to watch out for, that you can at least do some self repairs or maintenance to it without breaking the connection points. So yeah, don't get fooled by these gadgets, multi-tools, I would say, that are very cheap. Use something like a Leatherman that can be a little bit expensive, but it will work for many years. It will be your children will even inherit it. So what's another thing that, oh, the flashlights, especially the ones with solar batteries that work on batteries that you put in, and also solar. If you really think about it, how do you say it? Flashlights with solar panels. It's not the best combination, I would say, because how many times you will have to put this in the daylight before it recharges, and especially this very cheap model. The thing about this is, it only worked good when I put some of those minty batteries in it. Then they work fine. But if I use the selection of switching to the intern battery for the solar panel, after days in the sun, I only got 2 minutes of light with this, a very weak light. So this is a waste of space, a waste of money, and a waste of brain power, I would say. So don't get all hippie and environmental, because you will do the environment more harm by buying this type of pieces of shit than buying something that you will actually be able to use, operate for a long time, and eventually repair yourself in a way. So don't get don't cheap out on flashlights, because think about Mother Earth. And the last thing is yeah, actually this falls into the same thing, but everything small with solar panels. Solar panels are efficient if you have a large part of if you have a large panel of them, or at least something this big. But something like this, this is a very big mistake. This is one of these. Perhaps it's early model that is not that efficient as modern ones, but I bought this, and it has never worked fine. I I put this onto my cell phone for how long? For 6 hours in full plain sun, and it did not even recharge 1/3 of my cell phone. So this was supposed to be something that you put on your backpack or your Bugout bag, and you walk while recharging your devices. Well, it did not recharge my devices. It did not even do it on 1%. So the same thing goes for something like this. This is also one of those small solar panels that you would carry on your or open on your backpack. It never this thing has not even recharged one full battery of my cell phone. Piece of shit. And the same thing goes. The only thing that could be handy is in a power bank. This is one of those models that you open, and it's supposed to be recharging, but it will take days before it even recharges one dot of this thing by only solar panels. So you will always have to have another source to recharge this. But at least with this piece of shit, I have the use of a how do you say this, a power bank. So that's the only use, and I have to recharge this beforehand. So yeah, for those are the things that you need to watch out for. So these were the 10 mistakes of prepper items that I bought. Don't make the same mistakes that I did. And yeah, so this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Share this video. Tell me about your biggest mistakes, because I'm wondering about it. So leave in the comments and tell me about your worst prepper item that you bought. What kind of piece of shit there is still in the world that the people must be warned about. Yeah, leave a like and such, all the good stuff. And yeah, if you're interested in the detective stories, look into the description for my book. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Cheers.